DeMar DeRozan was told that he wasn't going to be traded. Now,
like a week ago at Summer League.
Now, again, I'm not defending the Raptors at all, but situations are fluid. You have no idea. You have no idea. The Spurs are going to be like, we're not going to trade you Danny Green. We're not trading you Danny Green. Again, just as an example,
right?
We're not trading you. We'll trade you this, and then they call him out. Okay, we're trading you Danny Green. I'm not saying that is the only reason why. Or they're saying the Spurs are saying for Kawhi Leonard, we want your first round pick in 2019 to be unprotected. Well, that would be a no. To hell with you. We're not doing that. And I would, if that was the case, if the Spurs were telling me, I am not trading you Kawhi Leonard unless you send me an unprotected first round pick for 2019, I would be more than happy to go to DeMar DeRozan and tell him to his face, you're not being traded. And then they call him up and say, okay, we'll let you protect it. So circumstances change. They really, really do. I mean, the number of times I've been told by television executives over and over again, don't worry, we got you. We got you. We got you. And guess what happens? Circumstances change. No longer got. No, so I'm serious. These things happen in business, and it sucks. Life's unfair in that regard. The Spurs now get DeMar DeRozan with 2 years of team control. There's 3 years left on DeMar DeRozan's contract, but the last year's a player option. Now we're seeing how many times these folks are, because technically Kawhi's got 2 years left on his deal. His second year's a player option. So he's gonna walk. He can walk if he wants. They get 2 years of contractual control of DeMar DeRozan. Kawhi Leonard's already said, I want out. I'm gone. They got something for him. And if I'm the NBA, I'm happy about this. Because the Raptors, who won the most games in the Eastern Conference last year, have some viability.
Well, and you got another big star.
And you got a star
East.
in Toronto.
Yeah, big star back in the East.
A big star in Toronto.
Yeah.
Now, DeMar DeRozan was big in Toronto. And we joke that Drake is the ambassador to the Raptors. We all laugh about that. But he does have an actual true job on his hands right now. Keep Kawhi engaged. Show him the town, Drake. And tell him what it's like to be a member of the Toronto Raptors and how great it is up here. And and Kawhi, part of the reason why he might not be happy is he's no longer eligible for the Supermax, but he knew that would be the case wherever he went. That the Supermax deal, $221 million, those were keys held only by the Spurs. The Raptors can sign him a 5-year deal worth, $30 million less. It's still an absurd amount of money of $189 million when he becomes a free agent in 2019. If he signs with another team, he can only get $140 million, unless there's some sort of sign and trade where the bird rights can travel with him. So that's what Kawhi Leonard's looking at right now. And a year in Toronto where he had no desire. He wants to go to it was like, I want to go to Los Angeles, preferably the Lakers. And then it was like, I still want to go to Los Angeles. I'm interested in the Clippers. Again, I don't know if this is exactly what he's saying, but these are the reports that you hear. And then if he's going to the East, Sixers, Celtics. Yes, because those are the teams that he could immediately win potentially a championship with.
Exactly.
And if I'm the Warriors, I'm like, okay, LeBron down in Los Angeles, you have our attention, which is why they went and they got Boogie Cousins for as cheaply as they could, and just let him convalesce until he's ready and get him up to speed in time for the playoffs. But Kawhi going there, now you really have their attention, although I'm sure they think they could probably still beat that team. You send Kawhi to the Celtics, depending on how many of those young kids that they gave up, you'd still have the Warriors' attention. You send him to the Sixers, they'll be like, okay, let's see what they can do in the Eastern Conference, and them should they get out of there, and we do see them, we'll deal with it then. Kawhi, as a threat to the Warriors, in any situation, had to be an additive piece to a team that's already has championship hopes, not to a team that fired its coach of the year because they couldn't get past the LeBron Cavs with the Cavs and the non-Brons and LeBrons.
Right.
And not to that team when they swap out their best player for Kawhi Leonard. I mean, it still is a Titanic in the NBA where the deck chairs just got. You could even were they reshuffled to the point where it could even tip the boat in a different direction? Not at all.
Not at all.
So, like I said, with the NBA, they're still happy that another super team wasn't created. That you're still going to have a team in Toronto. You could at least
playoff team, top 4,
and if they overachieve, maybe even better last year's win mark.
Yeah, maybe.
You can't put that out of the realm, depending on because injuries will happen, and also with other teams. The Celtics are a perfect example of that. So, and then the Spurs, you even heard what Chris Haynes had to say, which was essentially, hey, the Spurs are still in the mix, which is what? As the 4th, 5th best team in the Western Conference?
Yeah, they didn't get any worse. Did they get better?
I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Well, you'd have to say they improved because Kawhi wasn't playing last year.
Right.
DeMar DeRozan, you're assuming you're going to get 80 games out of him.
But they also lost Danny Green, who, was a big-time player in the playoffs for them for the last few years.
That's the way I'm seeing this whole situation here. That it's a big story, especially since, and you absolutely can bet on it, that the Spurs are telling everybody else, you want out, we are more than happy to sit here and smooth it over, just like we did with LaMarcus Aldridge. Let's smooth it over and figure it out because we're big boys. This is a profession. Let's see if we can hammer it out. But if you're going to put us in a position where we got to get rid of you, we're not sending you to where you want to go unless we get more than equal value back for you. We're going to send you to the spot where we're happy to send you because we're going to get equal value.
And we don't have to worry about you because you're in the other conference.
Exactly. So while that's all happening, you take a look at it's a huge trade, big name.
Big name.
Correct. And a big result that we're all talking about. Nobody thought the end result would be Kawhi to Toronto, but that's what we got. So that's a big story. But when it all settles down, all the dust settles down, and you see the way everything has played out, with Chris Haynes saying as well that Houston is weaker on paper, that when it's all settled down, that noise you are hearing are the clinking of champagne glasses in the Bay Area, where they're all looking at each other and telling Lewis and Billy Ray that they're looking good and feeling good. That's the scoop.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.